when I got into trail running, like Tim and Jim and the Coconino Cowboys. Something like having that group of people to train with was really special, and it definitely increased our fitness a lot more, and our speed and our competitiveness, or whatever you want to call it. It increased that a lot more than if we were doing it on our own in different places. We could go to the canyon all together and put in a solid effort, try to beat each other out every time, even though every time it was usually the same thing, with Jim first and then Tim and then me.
But you always had those two carrots in front, so that definitely helps.
Yeah. Oh, I was only 2 minutes behind him this time. That's going good.
All right, so I got to ask you, man, because the Coconino Cowboys in American trail running, it's grabbed the imagination of a lot of American trail runners. As far as what it is, what it meant, what was that group of these five. But I'm going to go ahead and say I mean it in the nicest way. 5 cocky guys out on the trails, the young guys, trying to beat each other, trying to beat everyone else. But they obviously have this strong friendship. I think for everyone who knows about the Cowboys, it means something else. It grabbed a part of the individual's imagination. I want to hear what is your interpretation? What are the Cowboys?
Like you said, just a bunch of cocky guys with some fitness to back up our claims. Like, we wanted to go out and win races and make a name for ourselves, and that's what we did. And that's how it started, really. And then after a while of that, goals change, and people move away. People want different things, and so it was good while it lasted. There was a couple of years there when we were all together and had the same vision, or relatively same vision, and similar goals, and yeah.
In a conversation we had before, you had mentioned one time, it's just I don't know if you count it as a regret, but it's at the time when all this was happening, and I think this is really common when things are happening, you don't really see the full potential of something. You're living in the moment. You're trying to figure out what's going to happen next week, what's going to happen the next race, and you don't see this is something that we have here. And you had mentioned to me, it's just you had said just you and Tim kind of were the only ones who kind of had a bigger vision with the Cowboys. What did you mean by that, and what do you think it could have been had you guys if you feel that all 5 of you had a bigger vision of what this meant?
Yeah, like you said, looking into the future a week, a month, a year ahead of time, I think if we had all done that together, then we could have put our minds to something. I mean, we sort of did that. I mean, we really did that in 2018 when we all qualified for Western States and ran that together. Injury aside, I think Jared didn't make it that year because he got hurt. But anyway, he was still qualified and he was still present. But we did that once, and that kind of felt like it. After that, I don't think anybody really wanted to do anything together like that anymore, whether it was for reasons of just feeling it wasn't worth it, or maybe they felt like they didn't get anything out of it. I don't know, but yeah, there could have been a lot more, and I think there could have been a lot more if we had continued working together with a similar vision or goal long term. There could have been a lot more financial incentives for us that we could have gone after, but it just kind of fell apart. people were getting real jobs, and they just were focusing on that mostly.
I mean, so what do you see a place for more teams coming up in trail running in the U.S. scene? It's just like right now we talk about Team Solomon, we talk about Team Hoka, but they're not really teams. I mean, something very different.
Corporate teams, they're totally different, and they're just a bunch of random people thrown together, and they all have the same sponsor, and that's like the only thing that connects them. And what I find funny is like all the dancing that especially the Freriks team does. Seems like all of their social media is just like dancing. But yeah, like that's a very different thing. Like I enjoyed the fact that we had, for the most part, for a while, all different sponsors. And then I was with Under Armour, obviously, and then everyone else was like with Hoka, with the Cowboys. But yeah, I mean, I think there is room for teams. Like you're going to get so much benefit out of just training together and pushing each other, and like systematically attacking races. And having that, I don't know, cohesion within the trail world.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's not going to be a corporate sponsor, which is, it seems like that's in the system we have right now, the most obvious thing would be like, you have these 5 guys already together. Hoka comes in, says, okay, do what you need to do. We're going to fund you. Or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's another way to go as well. Like if you wanted to, like if these companies want a group package like that, that could be really big. Right now, they're just taking the people that they have and putting them on these teams. And, it's just different. But if you have a group of friends already, or a group of people already that train together, live around each other, and then a sponsor wants to come in and sponsor the whole group, like that would be the team. That's like totally different. And I think I don't know what value these companies see really in sponsoring runners. Like, what is their return on investment? But I could see a value in that.
Do you see any other? Because
there's a story. There's more of a story to tell as well with that. That's where that return comes from, because that's what people like. They like the story.
The story is enormous.
I mean, the Cowboys, and we haven't been together for how long?